Welcome to the American Contractor Show, the show that's all about American contractors living the American dream. I'm your host, John Dye. Each episode will introduce you to contractors just like you who have beaten the odds and leveled up their game to become the dominant force in their markets. Together, we'll explore the tools and tactics that unlock the secrets to their success. Join me as we begin the journey that leads to the realization of your American dream. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the American Contractor Show. I am your host, John Dye, and in the studio with me today here at the Balance Claims HQ studio, we've got Hunter Ballew from Cornerstone Construction and RoofCON, and he's joined us today. He was gracious enough to come all the way from South Carolina and hang out, and it's good to see you, man.
South Carolina, bypassing all the COVID cases the whole way. We came at the beginning.
That's right. We were here. Remember, you came out here the last day we could eat at a restaurant.
Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, of course, because Hunter, you love Texas Roadhouse.
Right.
And then we went to Tennessee and hung out in Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And that was the first day that restaurants had opened back up. And we went to that Mellow Mushroom or whatever and hung out with the RoofCON crew. And then you came over here and you got to hang out the first day that we opened the office back up. So I feel like we've kind of gone through COVID together.
We have, man. It's been enjoyable. You know, we talked on a lot of different podcasts from the beginning of this whole thing, and
we did
kind of talked about our strategies and going at it head first and how we wanted to thrive and not just survive. And I feel like we've kind of stood true to that, and continued pushing forward and helped others as well.
Cornerstone has done great. You guys have killed it. RoofCON is taking off. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Balance, we've done really good here throughout this whole pandemic. We were with Aaron Christie last night playing some golf, and he was talking about how their success has exploded. And I've talked to other contractors. We were in Lincoln talking to some people, and it's the same story. Everyone that we talked to that I feel are, I don't know, how would you describe these contractors that are just doing really well right now?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think they're just turning devastation into opportunity. It's something that I've said over and over and over throughout this entire period.
Devastation into opportunity.
Everyone else is just looking at it like, oh, man, my business, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to collect. I can't sell jobs. I can't go out. I can't bang doors. I can't run ads. People don't want to set their houses.
Right.
And, a lot of us put self-limiting beliefs on ourselves versus you see some of the guys, some of the leaders in the industry that have just been attacking it. And a lot of people pulled back on ad spend. We went, 3 times as much as what we were spending. Our guys continue to beat the streets. And, I said from the beginning, and we may have some people that watch this and say, oh, well, that's irresponsible. For me, man, we're in South Carolina. It wasn't as strict. And for me, I just said, hey, look, if you decide to stay home, and we had 2 guys that decided to stay home, one because he's a little bit older, another because his kid had some issues and he didn't want to risk it, and that's fine. But I'm not going to tell that the other 30 guys, that have family to feed that they can't go out and bang doors if they want to bang doors.
Well, and I think the key is the mindset there. You set the tone as a leader for your company. Said, hey, this is what we're going to do. You guys made a definitive decision. This is how we're going to approach this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of being a leader, and that's part of what you have to do as a business owner. And it's evident in your success and everything else. I mean, you guys sold 100 roofs one day during COVID. You guys signed 100 deals.
Yeah, it was our record breaking day. It was pretty cool. We just
in one day.
We did have some storms come through, nothing huge, but we had some storms come through, and we just had an initiative. We were like, hey, we want to sell 100 roofs in a day. Let's go get it. And we did. We broke it like 7 o'clock at night. We ended up hitting.
Well, I remember we recorded a RoofCON Revolution show that night, and you guys were like at 96, 97. We were recording at like 6.
I was depressed. I thought
I know.
We were gonna hit it.
You were like legit depressed about it, and then you texted me after the show. You're like, dude, it was like 100. 106, 107, something like that. And I was like, dude, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's an inspiration. And that just goes to show, like, there's things that you can do with your business that are unconventional, outside the box. When other people are pulling back, it might be a good opportunity for you to go in and try to figure stuff out. And so that's kind of the essence of what I wanted to talk to you about today and what we wanted to discuss. And I wanted to talk about areas where contractors that are successful or unsuccessful, either way, like whatever the case may be, or maybe they have this vision of success. I want to talk about what are some of the things, the pitfalls, the blinders, the things that they don't see, the blind spots in their vision of their business that are either causing them to be unsuccessful or limiting their success, maybe not unsuccessful, but at least limiting how successful they can be. And then things that I feel like maybe you've overcome that maybe you weren't aware of. And when you became aware of them, they led to your success.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. The first one, I mean, I really right off the bat can think of 3 things that I kind of consider blind spots for most contractors. Those being lack of vision, collections, and operations. And lack of vision kind of ties back into what we were just talking about. Now, there's a lack of vision in terms of culture and what you want for your company and building out goals and get your guys to buy into those goals and those missions, but also just in terms of lead generation. Like for us, we said, hey, we're committed to knocking doors until we're told we can't, or until we absolutely feel that it's completely irresponsible. And we just didn't reach that point there in South Carolina. But there were other signs for us to see that it was okay for us to be out there. I talk about the trifecta of lead generation a lot, being door-to-door, relationships, referrals, things like that. And then you've got digital marketing. Our marketing campaigns were going great. People still calling in, wanting us to come out. Our referrals are still coming in, realtors, insurance agents, people sending us referrals. So those 2 are still hitting on all cylinders. We're getting leads. People are wanting us to come out. So why would we stop banging doors? We had a couple of people that were like, hey, we don't want to come out. We're worried about the virus. And that's fine. That's respectful. We get it. But the people that did come out, we were fine with.
I think a lot of people were, from what I've understood from the door knocking contractors, they felt like homeowners were, it was almost an opportunity because people were really craving that human interaction.
Yeah.
And so they saw someone, they're like, hey, it's a person.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what they were selling. They were like all about it. I think Sam Taggart and then we're talking about that one time. And I thought that's pretty cool to think about that. That's kind of the way a lot of things were perceived. Now there were some people I'm sure that were like, hey, don't come near us. Like we don't,
We got 2 bad reviews during the entire thing. I responded tactfully, and just said, hey, look, some of our guys aren't in a position to just take off for a month, 2 months, 3 months. They have families to feed.
Yeah.
And the guy actually took the review down and was pretty cool about it. I think
if
you spin it that way, you can be tactful and not just go back and attack or ignore it and say, hey, look, man, everyone's not in the same position as you. Maybe they're not getting unemployment, or maybe they're not getting a check from their company, some corporate company. Maybe they have to go out there and they have to work. And that's what they wanted to do. And they were cool about it, took the review down. So I think we kept 1 bad review from all that. We had a couple of people scream quarantine at us, but other than that, it was good.
That's cool though. And that's cool to see how the community responded. Did you get a lot of good reviews though?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think people were honestly, I don't know if many of the guys watching this study much in marketing, but it's pretty well known that, you're going to attract a tribe when you're a marketer. Not so much as a roofing company. I say all the time, there's nothing sexy about roofing. Somebody's not coming home like, you know what, babe, I think we'll change the color of our roof. We got it last year. Let's change the color up. They're not going to pay $10,000 to change the roof. Like they're only getting a roof if they need it. If it's leaking, if it has damage, They're not doing it just for fun. 1 in a million.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard to get people behind a roofing company. So how we do that, and we do it the right way, I feel like, is we get involved with the community, we give back to the community. So we have people buy into our mission. That's one of our 3 core values, is we're going to give back to the community, not just to some kind of PR stunt. Like we really actually care. We have a nonprofit dedicated to kids in the areas we serve. So those things mean a lot, and we get people to buy into that so that when we do have that one jackleg that comments is like, oh, I can't believe these jerks came and knocked on my door. Well, guess what? Boom, just like that, we have people, dozens of people commenting saying, well, this is an awesome company. They do a lot for the community. They have guys that have to feed their families. And they know they're kind of, I don't know if I can say this word right. I always mess up. Indoctrinated. Indoctrinated, well, however you say it, into our system and how we work. So people appreciate
They become raving fans for life.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the contractors that work with Atlas.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know much, we work a lot with Atlas, and what I've noticed about them is they've really set the bar for how manufacturers should deal with contractors, with their contractor partners. I think that's the biggest thing. Like contractors should be partners for manufacturers. And Atlas has done a great job of that. If you'd seen their Atlas, their Asphalt Life stuff, the whole, the live roof play hats, all the cool stuff.
You could call my rep with GAF, and I've told him, like, you better watch out. Atlas is coming.
Atlas is no joke.
They get the culture.
And, and they really are helping contractors run a leaner, better business. And that Asphalt Life stuff is amazing. By the way, if you guys don't know what Asphalt Life is, go to atlas.com/asphaltlife.
Yeah.
Learn about it. They got tons of blogs and stuff that'll help you out. But that's the kind of stuff that is helping the roofing community become amazing. And that's what you're doing in your community to help customers become amazing. And it's the same effect. It creates that culture that people become raving fans about it. And that's the goal of it all, is to become, to build this community of people that aren't just going to become customers, but they're customers for life.
Yeah.
They're people that are they're generation upon generation. It is what creates the legacy and the broader vision. And I think when we go back to the original conversation about what contractors really miss, I think a lot of times contractors really miss the bigger picture.
Yeah.
They see what's in front of them. They know that they have to get from point A to point B. I mean, let's picture this for a second. Let's picture the guy that's doing $700,000 to $1 million a year. $700,000 to $1 million a year. He's usually like a one-man show. Maybe he's got a sales rep that comes and helps him out from time to time. They're basically running a business. They were a sales rep that went off on their own. And, they're thinking, okay, I've got 12 roofs on the board. That's awesome. I got 12 roofs. I got to build these roofs. I got to move on. That's my goal right now, is just get these things built, keep filling that pipeline. That's all that they're doing. That's all they're focused on, just running their business. How is that like limiting for that contractor? Like, what kind of exposure is he putting himself in without even realizing it?
Yeah, it's super easy. You don't want to keep doing everything you've got to do to run the company. Stay on the grind, run all the leads, sell all the jobs, keep that extra 8, 10, 12%, 40% profit split. Whatever you do, keep that extra money. It seems like when you're at that stage, it's the right thing to do, because you're making pretty good money, especially if you came from another industry or something. You're probably doing pretty well.
Yeah,
but
making six figures.
If the long-term vision, if you're thinking, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, legacy. How do I leave a legacy? What am I leaving for my kids? How am I going to change the community? How am I going to impact other people, be able to provide jobs? How am I going to grow into other markets? And to make an income that's going to allow you to do those things, you got to look at building a team, right?
Right.
You can't do everything yourself. And I get it. It's really hard. Almost every single thing inside of Cornerstone at this point, I've given up. Just recently, the most recent thing that I gave up, and really the last thing is graphic design and running Facebook ads, things like that, because that really represents our brand, and I was afraid to give it up because I call myself a brand Nazi. I'm not a micromanager, but when it comes to our brand and what people see, I want to make sure that it's congruent with who we are.
Well, it's really important. Your brand should speak about who you are as a company.
It is, man.
It's just
hard to give that up. But
for
most guys, it's hard to give up ops. It's hard to give up going out and selling the job. It's hard to give up, ordering material and all of that stuff.
But what is he doing to himself in the long run? You said legacy, vision. I think about legacy because, I don't talk about very often, like, my past and like where I come from in the industry or where I come from on a personal level. But, I lost someone very close to me, my first wife, in a car accident, and it happened like that. And you look at things like, okay, what happens? Like, life is fragile. Let's say that, God forbid, something happened to you as a contractor and you've got all these jobs lined up, and now you got a family that's relying on you and you're not there anymore. Will the business survive without you?
Right.
And if not, what happens if that happened? You just put a massive burden on the people around you that don't have a clue. Like, if you don't have systems, they don't know how to like track your customers down. You're just going to have a bunch of really upset customers suing your estate, doing all kinds of other stuff. And you think about that, like, dude, that would be a nightmare.
It blows my mind, man. How many guys are still just grinding away in their one-man show? Or even if they're not, maybe they have an ops team, maybe they have a sales team, but they don't have the systems and processes in place to be able to run where they're going. I'm super blessed, and I don't say this in any way of like, oh, look at me. I'm extremely blessed to have learned from some of the greatest in the industry who've lent their hand, guys like you and Troy and Dustin Bigler, and just guys who have been there to answer my questions along the way, because I was willing to reach out and not just grab information, but willing to reciprocate and give value back in any way that I could. If that meant, buying supper, which is no big deal to most of you guys, but, getting you on the stage, helping you out at RoofCON, things like that. And for me, man, like, being willing to give up that control has allowed us to scale so much because now I don't have to be there. I'm sitting in Indy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going straight from here. I'm going to Knoxville. You know, 2 weeks ago, I did a 2-week trip.
Yeah, you guys are going
all around the country, meeting with guys like Dustin Bieber.
You guys ended up in Hawaii.
Yeah. So all over the place, man. But it's a blessing to know that when I'm not there, it's going to continue to run. And honestly, like Craig Rochelle, I don't know if anybody's heard of Craig Rochelle podcast, a leadership podcast. He's the pastor of the biggest church, I think, on earth, Life Church. He co-created the Bible app, one of the biggest apps on the planet. And in his leadership podcast, he says all the time that if you find someone in your organization that can do something 80% as good as you can, delegate it. Empower them to do that task so you can free yourself up. It will kill you if, I don't want to say if you're a perfectionist, but if you want to be the best, it's hard to give that up. We know, like, dude, I can do this faster than you. I can do it better than you. But you have to understand that if they're solely focused on that, they have more time to focus on that, then they're going to eventually be able to do it 110% better than you, right?
Right.
Versus you right now may be able to do a little bit better, but you got to delegate that, empower some people within your organization, build leaders.
Well, let them make mistakes too.
Like,
that's how people learn. They got to make those mistakes. They got to go through the same trials that you had to go through. They got to figure this stuff out. And I think a lot of contractors, sometimes they feel like they can't afford the mistakes.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous place to be
for it one way or the other.
Yeah.
I was literally thinking that as you said it is, look, you're going to maybe lose some money because you gave that up and you let Joe Blow run some ads for you or make some posts or answer the phone or whatever it is, go out and sign that big contract that you're like, man, that's an $80,000 residential. I want to go sign that. Well, you know, at some point I felt like you have to cut that tie. For me, it was about a year ago that I finally said, I'm not taking any more jobs. None. I don't care if it's my mom, my grandma, it's a lay down. I don't care if it's $100,000 job. I'm not taking any more because honestly, I'm doing the customer a disservice as well because I'm not going to give them the attention they deserve because I'm so just spread out everywhere else.
And I've heard that a lot from that's a big step and a hard step for people to take a lot of times though. You know, for business owners, people that are contractors that are trying to scale, that's probably one of the hardest things for them to let go of because, you know, the sale is so important. Like that's probably the most important part of the whole process. And for them to let go of that, that's a huge step.
Yeah, it is.
And it's cool to see when that happens. But dude, I really think that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that contractors need to be thinking about, you know, that are areas that they're not looking at, that they're not seeing because they're inside their business, they're working on it. It's really vital for them to take a step back and really evaluate their business. Say, what am I doing good at? And find a way. I know there's evaluations out there that can tell you like, hey, are you doing this, this, and this? If you're not, you really need to start working on that and help you like form an actual operation that can stand on its own because it's really, you know, we talk a lot about the American dream here because that's kind of the whole point of the show. I mean, contracting allows you to, you know, guys like you to live the American dream and like whatever that means for you, that's what it means. Like you can do and give and be a part of the community, have those foundations, do all the stuff that's impacting society. But, you know, there's the other side of this where this can really become the American nightmare.
Yeah,
you know,
it can, man. I mean, you can get bogged down with operations and get behind and be robbing Peter to pay Paul, and collections can be a pain in the butt. And, I mean, a lot of stuff that can catch up to you if you don't have those processes in place. And the fact is that as you grow, as you scale, you're going to break those processes, have to relearn and recreate.
And they're going to change.
They catch up.
Technology is going to keep moving. The processes aren't going to be the same as they were 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I was sitting here at one of the supplementers pulled me aside. I was walking by his office here, and he said, "John, look at this." And he showed me a scope that was written by an adjuster somewhere like Missouri, somewhere like in the middle of nowhere, and it was literally a handwritten insurance scope. And he was like, I can barely read it. It was like in cursive, you know? And these guys are all millennials, so they're just like, I don't know what to do with this. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's old school, man. You don't see that very often. I mean, out of the thousands of claims that run through this office every month, that's very rare for us.
Yeah. No doubt.
And so it's kind of funny, but you know, I know contractors that still do the same thing. They're writing everything, they're handwriting stuff. They're just basically trying to get things done the way that they've always known how to do it. And there's so many better ways to do it. And it's going to constantly be evolving, and staying on top of that should be, as if you're a leader, manager, owner, whatever it is that you do in a business, if you're leading a sales team, you got to stay on top of what the latest, greatest trends are, because if you're not doing it, your competitors are.
Yeah.
And they got to, they're watching what's going on. They're gonna come up they're gonna take advantage of those resources. And so if you want to stay ahead, you've got to do that yourself.
No, you're right, man. And one thing we preach over and over, and I wanted to hit on this earlier, and we kind of blew past it, but it's just, you talked about raving fans and creating that lifetime value.
Yeah.
It's so easy for our sales team to go out, run a lead, whether it's a referral, came from an AdWords campaign, Facebook, maybe they're knocking on doors, and to just blow through the sale, sign the contract, go on their way, build the job, and never talk to them again.
Right.
But to really build that relationship, Marcus Coleman with Apple, we actually had this conversation. I think you were sitting there when we had this discussion, but he was talking about how when he was in the field, he would spend way too much time with homeowners. He said, I'd spend 45 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, and it's just too much time. I said, bro, there's never too much time with a homeowner, because you're building that relationship so that not only are they going to remember your name the next time that storm comes through, or they need a roof, they have a leak, whatever it is, they're going to remember your name when Aunt Betty needs a roof, when their realtor Joe needs a roof, when the lady from church,
when their kids need roofs, they're going to remember those names too.
They're going to remember your name.
And I think Apple is a great example of that. They've done such a phenomenal job in their market on branding themselves, making things, everyone knows who they are over there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys have done the same thing with what you guys do on Facebook and social media, and, you're in Greenville, South Carolina. And dude, by the way, this is a huge kudos to you, but like, how many branches did you open during COVID?
2. Yeah.
You opened 2 new branches during COVID.
And actually going great too, man. Like Charleston opened April. We're pumping pretty good right now. Nothing huge, but we're at like 30 roofs a month there.
Nice.
Already. And Charlotte went live last week. So really excited about that. Charlotte's, 3 times the size of Greenville or Charleston. So we're
Charlotte's a great market. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. And see, that's the thing. Like, I bet you a lot of companies weren't even thinking about opening new branches. They weren't considering that as an option. They were basically going to hunker down and see what happens. I knew a lot of people that were doing that. I saw that a lot. We heard a lot of that when we had people shut down files. We're like, why are you shutting down our files? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. But hey, whatever, we'll do it. We still ended up breaking every record internally that we've ever set in April. And that's like unheard of in our industry. And so in our little niche, most people, you break records, it's in October when there's that final push, for people trying to get stuff done. So I can only imagine what our October is going to be like. But that's cool to see what you guys have done. Congrats, man. Amazing work with RoofCON. If you guys don't know what RoofCON is, you guys got to check it out, roofcon.com. That's coming up in October.
Yeah, man. I feel like that's the most important thing is going back to blind spots. We hit on legacy. We hit on leadership. And those are kind of some of the keywords that we always incorporate with RoofCON. Is having a community of like-minded individuals of high integrity who are focused on legacy. They're focused on leadership. And so when you get guys together like that, I mean, Aaron Christie, we met with last night. You met Aaron at RoofCON last year. Savage met him at RoofCON last year. I met him last year at RoofCON. So that level of networking.
Aaron's story is amazing, though. I mean, he's
crushing it this year.
He is doing things that most contractors would take 4 or 5 years if they're going on a steady growth pattern to do, and he's in like year 2.
Yeah, just crushing. And he didn't have a ton of experience before either.
He could possibly hit 7 figures in year 2.
8 figures.
8 figures. I'm sorry.
8 figures.
He's past 7. I'm sorry. He could possibly do 8 figures in year 2. That's insane.
But it's because of his willingness to invest in his company.
I think RoofCON was like the first step.
Yeah. And I don't want to take credit for it, but it was awesome to have him
I want to
at the event.
I think it really was. And I think this is kind of the thing. Like, if you're a contractor and you're thinking, man, what do I need to do? Okay, I realize I'm self-aware that this is not going to be a good outcome for me, for my family in the long run. Like, this is going to, at some point, you can't do it all. What are you going to do? You can save away money and possibly have some sort of retirement or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, does that leave a legacy? Right. And if you're asking yourself, man, I really want to become that. I really want to at least explore the opportunity to become that. This is what's cool about being an American contractor. The opportunity is there. It's up to you, though, to like grasp it, take advantage of it, seek it out, and you can do it. And RoofCON, I think, is a great first step. Like, hey, you know what? If this is the direction that I really want to go, maybe I should go check out this RoofCON thing. I mean, go invest a couple of days and a few $100s on a ticket and go, or take your wife, take whatever, take a salesperson with you, take someone with you that wants to grow, and start building that culture within your company.
And there's so many reasons too as well. I mean, there's so much value packed into those couple of days, right? Not only are you getting to hear the keynotes, guys like John Dye and Ryan Groth and Dale Childress and Jim Johnson, and dude, the list goes on. I mean, I think total we have like 40 speakers getting up, and they're all industry experts. They're all
Chuck Doki. You've got I mean, it goes. I'm trying to remember the list. The list was on the board yesterday, and I was looking at it. And I'm like, that's a great list.
And so not only like are you getting to network with like industry experts like Ryan, like John, but you're also getting to network with the big dogs, the guys doing 40, 50 million. And obviously you can learn a ton from them, just as much or more from them, because they've been through the steps that you're gonna go through. And you know, they say there's no shortcuts in business. That's really your shortcut. Relationships is your shortcut.
Relationships, knowledge, learning, becoming better. That's the shortcut.
Yeah.
And you can either go through the school of hard knocks, figure it out yourself. Trial and error. Look at a whole bunch of different opportunities. Because I mean, when you start thinking about it, if you're going to start implementing operations, start implementing software, start implementing tools, there's so many options out there. What's right? What's wrong? What works? What doesn't work? This is a place where you can get actual opinions from people that actually use it, and they'll tell you, hey, this is what works with this. This is what doesn't work with this, because we've already been down that road.
Yeah.
And that just in itself could save you tons of headaches, tons of time, and tons of lost opportunity. You'll save that by coming to an event like this and actually like understanding what other people are dealing with. And that's what's really cool about 2020. I remember like my dad growing up, my grandpa, like they had like their little secrets, like they weren't going to tell their competitors anything. Like everyone was like, oh, we can't tell them, my grandpa was a mason, he was going to tell his secrets on how he mixed his mortar to get a better mix, or how he did this or how he did that. That was like a family secret. Like I can tell old Joe over there about that. Yeah. 2020, I mean, you got guys here in Indy, like Roof Wars is going on, which is hysterical to me. We got Dustin Reese and Aaron Christie out there going at it, putting up videos, cross-marketing the crap out of each other and helping each other's businesses grow. That's where we're at today. Yeah. There's still competition, but it's healthy, it's fun, and people are willing to collaborate and share. And that's what's so cool about our industry.
There's an abundance out there. You have to have that mindset, man. There's so much work. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to live in fear. When you start breaking down your market and how many millions of people there are homes that you can go out there and put a roof on, like, you don't have to worry about that, right?
No.
And I think just getting to an event like that, getting around people like that is important.
I totally agree.
It changes the mindset and the realization of, hey, this is more than just a roofing company. We can build something that's long-term. We can build out processes, build out systems that are going to be here so that I can take that vacation. I can stroke that check for $100K for the charity that I care about.
Build a foundation. I mean, come on, you guys have the Cornerstone kids.
Yeah.
That's so cool. You guys are building foundations for that. You're helping the community. You're doing stuff that, while, it's not about the money allows you to do it. It's a tool that lets you do that kind of stuff. And so awesome to have you here, dude. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out for a few minutes and just, doing this. I think that a lot of people should go look into RoofCON, check out what Hunter's doing, follow him on Facebook, Instagram, all of his social media stuff, because he's putting out some great content. RoofCON's got a Facebook group. Be a part of that, because these guys are here to help. That's what's so cool about it. They're not here to like hoard the knowledge and just try to they're going to share the secret sauce. They're going to show you guys like what works for them. And frankly, what's cool about that is what works for them and what works for you may be different.
Yeah.
100%.
What didn't work for me. That's a big one, right? It's like,
that's a huge
lesson. How
lesson.
can I go to Heath Hicks and say, hey, man, what shortcut can I take because this didn't work for you?
Yeah.
We went out there and saw Heath. We saw Pate. We saw Dustin Bigler. Saw these guys. And a lot of it was, don't do this because you're going to waste time and waste money.
Yep.
And time is money. So that's just even more.
And that's the part that's so awesome. Finding these minds that are able to help you and give you direction and give you the shortcut. This is it. So thank you so much, Hunter, for hanging out, brother. It's always a pleasure.
Enjoyed coming home, brother.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Got a sweet setup, new backdrop here.
This is cool. This is coming together. This will be at RoofCON. We'll have this whole setup there. We'll have I can't talk about the truck very much yet, but it's going to be there.
I'm going to show them a sneak peek.
No, we can't show any pictures of that yet. So we're going to wait. We're not even really supposed to talk about that. So
fresh.
It's something else. And so I'm excited about it. You got to wait a couple more weeks for that one, guys, but it's going to be awesome. And, we're excited to be there, and we're going to have a lot of really cool breakouts, all that stuff. And thank you, though. Appreciate what you're doing, helping the industry, and I'm sure the whole industry feels that way as well. So appreciate you guys. Make sure to catch us at the next episode. It'll be Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to have the next episode of the American Contractor Show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you. Thanks so much for watching today's show. Make sure to like and subscribe our pages so that you can stay up to date with every episode. And by the way, this show is all about you, the American Contractor. Be sure to comment and let us know what you want to hear about and what subjects you want us to touch on. We'll be sure to include them in a future episode. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.